Hey everyone, so we're going to be chatting now about the biggest opportunities in Web3 social. I feel like only one day into DevCon and already the conversations around like mobile design, UX, and generally having fun on chain have been so much more present, and I really credit people building in Web3 social for that. And yeah, excited to dive in. I'm Lata. I'm an investor at Fabric, been with the team for 4 years. And yeah, would love to introduce you to our amazing panelists. So maybe give a quick intro.
Hi everyone, my name is María Paula Fernández and I work as Director of Growth at Lens.
Hey guys, my name is Alan. I'm the founder of EVG and also Open Social. Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm Solomon. I lead product and technical product at the Solana Foundation and then also work on infrastructure.
Great, we've got like a huge range of different social presence here. And so yeah, I guess to kick off, you know, we talk a lot about the value props of composable social experiences and porting your social graph across different apps. I guess would love to know what apps you guys have tried that have really been like a light bulb moment for Web3 social.
Well, I have to say, you know, as someone that's building a social protocol, I try to use all of the apps. I think that what the guys at Orb are building, which is innovating also on what we think is a social experience and what it means to interact with a post, for example, what it means to interact with an audience, what it means to have your community live completely on chain. It's really amazing. Recently, they have introduced a new way, a very elegant way, I have to say, and very fun to fight the bots. Because, of course, as any other social media, we have bots. Twitter is full of bots. YouTube as well. Every social media, there's no way to really fend against them. But what they try to do is a more humanistic side on fighting the bots, and this perspective comes from basically every time that you interact with a like on a post, you need to use stickers. To use stickers, you need to purchase sticker packs that are created by the Orb creators. And so this means that all of the likes that exist within Orb, they come from real people. Then we have other clients in the ecosystem, of course, and they have their own mechanisms because we don't dictate how a like should be done. But this is a brand new thing. And it was really exciting because all of the likes that I have now within Orb are actually from real people that I love to interact with.
Yeah, like I use a whole bunch. But honestly, none of them is getting pretty sticky yet. Like, to be honest, I'm still pretty much stuck in the Web2 social apps, not including the one I invested. So it's not trying to say like I have a better approach. I think, you know, there's on one hand you can say like is fair because it's early, you know, there's still more innovation need to be done. But also, I mean, there's no Jake versus Kendrick Lamar, right? There is no, I can't really look at Diddy stuff. I can't really look up some chump shit, right? So I think it's pretty early. And I think, you know, I always try to think more like first principle way is like why we joined a social media platform at the very beginning, regardless what kind of platform, what kind of ages. We joined Facebook initially because it's kind of like that, you know, blue blood, you know, community that was code that you got to be Harvard, Stanford, you know, high quality stuff. And then you join Clubhouse because it's cool early on. You join Snapchat because, you know, hot chicks send you pics. And I don't think we're getting any of that today in Web3, man, like, to be honest, like. And my kind of thinking mental framework is that maybe it's not right to think larger. We might need to think smaller and nicher. So almost like one of the metaphor I kind of like to think about social is swimming pools, right? So all this like social media is like swimming pool in the beginning. They're cool. It's like a house party, right? Curated. You can do whatever fuck you want. And then as you grew, now Facebook or Instagram becoming almost like a public swimming pool. And imagine you swimming next to your ex and your aunts, and it's not exactly cool, right? So that's why we're launching this new approach is called this week, which is called Open Social Portal, that allow anyone to deploy your own first step in your life, code 3, 5 minutes, and can be either interest-centric like Wall Street Bets or personality-centric about you. And it's completely private swimming pool. You decide what you want to go in there. If you want to do OnlyFans, go ahead, right? But it's your private swimming pool. We want to bring back that coolness. I think social is fundamentally, it's very hard to think about social and not think about culture. You can't just think about it as tag or social graph or tech stuff. It's the people you want to hang out with, right? So just like this is the vibe, right?
Yeah, a large chunk of the applications in Solana are consumer social. They're collecting apps, right? So like Discover is a really good application, right, where you can collect pictures. There's Drip, where you can sort of buy driplets and follow your favorite artists, your favorite musicians, your favorite basketball players or something, and get like real-time updates from them on the new things that they're doing, new mints that they're minting, and things like that. There's a lot of also new applications coming over from the Ethereum side. So one example here is Unlonely, which is a live streaming application that lets you buy and sell tokens, but then you're also sort of interacting with the panelists or the people that are live. They recently just did a Halloween live stream where people were stuck in this old abandoned church in Brooklyn and New York, and then you had to see them walk through it. And then another really good one that's migrating over is called Time.Fun, which is a tokenized time protocol where you can basically buy minutes to get access to somebody's time, and then you can trade them on the secondary. But really, it's being able to get access to your favorite people. This was an old thing that happened in Solana called Soul Linked, where you could like get access to Tolly's time if you wanted to send him an email or get on a call with him. And Time.Fun's a new version of that.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, my latest experience is like downloading Interface, which is following what your friends are doing on Train and trading and trying to copy trade someone and then instantly get dumped by them as soon as you buy the token. So that was less fun, but I appreciate the new primitive there. And I guess one of the things that I think I found really exciting about Web3 Social is just being able to use mobile apps that just aren't horrific. Like UX experience and something that maybe my sister would use, my 15-year-old cousin, as opposed to like some of the horrific stuff that we all went through in Deep by Summer. I guess what are you most excited about in the mobile UX space, and what are you most excited about, like applications, new tech standards, or just new things that apps can do with a mobile native approach?
Well, I was talking about this yesterday at WalletCon. There's a really interesting trend within the Web3 space at large on constantly be improving the user experience, because we're so self-conscious that the user experience has been really unacceptable for many years, and now we're reaching a point where our apps are actually quite by large much better than Web 2 apps. For example, like right now I'm trying to use X, and half of the time like something goes black, something like I can't interact. I need to restart the app, and those things are just not happening. Avara, the parent company of Lens, yesterday just launched Family, the Web3 wallet, and the experience is just flowing, and you can't get that any longer on Web 2 apps. You can get it in Web 3 apps, you can get it in Orb, you can get it in T2, you can get it in Family. All of those apps are fabulous, and it just keeps improving. I was discussing yesterday about smart accounts and how they will allow us to switch seamlessly across apps, that they will be progressively migrating people from the app-specific wallet to ending up having a proper wallet on Web3. And all of these patterns that are being created, they're being created with like extremely high standards in mind. So I think like the whole space of UX in crypto at large is very exciting, because the bar is ours now.
I think nobody will really argue about going mobile, but I think we also need to go mobile, like cheap mobile or like poor mobile, right? Not everyone get iPhone, man. Like not everyone gets all these flagship phones. Like in this part of the world, majority of the phone they're using is like 4th generation dated. they don't get your latest gen GPU and CPU and stuff. So I think to be able to configure to the mass market, and in my mind, these type of people in Southeast Asia, in Nigeria, in India are most likely to experiment new things. They're more likely to America. Like to be honest, right? I don't think America really needs Web3 fundamentally, right? And a lot of these new emerging countries are gonna be the first batch of users, so we gotta make sure we're compatible. But also another thing is to also think in very first principle ways, like what is available out there in the technology stack. You remember when FriendTech actually came up, I think one reason for the viral adoption is because the PWA, that you don't even need to download the app. You just install that package then. So it saves you at least like 40 maps, 80 maps, in terms of data for you to first download it, log in, everything, send the packets. And it's just much smaller in terms of data requirement. And I think at one point, Apple was about to cut PWA, right? I'm not sure if you're an app developer, you know that for about 7-8 months. And then too many people complained, so Apple have to bring it back. So when we saw that, we were super happy. So for example, the spaces you're able to launch starting this week from the Open Social portal in the website, you can package into your phone as a PWA. So 5-minute configuration, you build the first app and de-app in your life, right? And then it's like you're lowering the hurdle. Another thing is also for login, we're experimenting with passkeys, right? Which is enabled by obviously also encryptions on your hardware level. So I think you also need to think first principle wise, what are the marginal solutions you can possibly use to make the experience better. But yeah, I think as long as we don't have a first world syndrome, it should be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so for us, it's quite different. I think it's split into two different pieces. One is tooling, and then one is direct to hardware. So Solana, the Solana Labs team is building this new phone called Seeker, which is the version 2 of what was previously known as Saga. And the biggest thing here is to disrupt the duopoly of mobile phones, which is if you want to launch an application and you want to have some form of commerce in there, you're paying that 30% tax. Right, and so with this open app store, you're able to launch any application, get it approved quite quickly, and anybody who has this phone is able to interact with it quite nicely. That opens up a huge door for a lot of new interesting applications that don't have commerce first, or you have to sort of go out into this new web view to get access or to buy a token. The second is just tooling generally. We're putting a lot of emphasis on mobile tooling, and the two things here are embedded wallets, MPC, and then smart accounts. The big thing here is if you're just a normal user and you only have Twitter or a Google email, you want an embedded wallet and you want to just use an app, right? You don't want to know what crypto is, you just want to interact with the app as quickly as possible. And the big thing here is passkeys, right? So in Solana, everything natively is an account, so smart wallets are a first-class citizen in our ecosystem. But passkeys is the big unlock, so you can just sign messages and submit transactions just by scanning your Face ID and then sort of backing up your private key to iCloud, and that's going to unlock a huge new wave of applications. And thankfully enough, passkeys are coming Q1 of next year, and so we're going to see a big boom in new applications building on top of it.
Yeah, that's super exciting, and I actually really love that kind of edgy approach to building the hardware too. I mean, out of curiosity, does anyone here have one of the Solana phones? Okay.
One person, nice.
I won't make you come up here and tell us all about it, don't worry. Okay. Convenient. Yeah, I think so. One of the things that I found pretty cool about when Web3 Social emerged was, digital art has always been quite a key part of the NFT space, and it felt like a really native social platform, I think, for a lot of generative artists, Web3 artists, AI artists, and as a content niche, it really fit nicely into a social feed and a way to interact with artists too. I have a broader question though, I guess, around how we onboard more content onto Web3 Social. It's not just crypto, Twitter, copy paste. I know, Alan, we talk about this quite a lot as well. So I guess kind of curious how you guys think is the best way to onboard the masses. Is a very vague term, but I guess that's what we're talking about here.
I think everyone's going to agree here. You first have to start with the infrastructure. The infrastructure that we were currently that we have been dealing with is clearly not enough. It can't handle the user loads of the masses, as you mentioned. So we are, we just shipped the testnet of the Lens network, which is powered by ZK Sync and Avail. That's going to allow us to treat social data in a different way than normal blockchains are, supposed to treat data. Basically, like social data and financial data are split out, and then one of the pieces gets validated by the Validium, the financial data, which requires a higher threshold security, and the social data is managed by Avail, so that it grants you more, more storage. Additionally, we're shipping another piece, infrastructure piece called storage nodes, which is allowing users and developers to have access control, editability, and great metadata standards, so that the network can scale and it will introduce less fragmentation. This is a piece of infrastructure that comes out of the box together with the Lens network, so that we can be leading the quality, because the apps, the apps are trusting us. So we need to deliver really, really good infrastructure. And then they are actually the ones that will have to onboard the masses. I can't onboard the masses to a protocol. I can't go out in the street and tell everyone, hey, do you want to join my protocol? That's not how it works. But the apps are doing that work. So if we can serve the apps in a way that they feel that they have everything they need, that they're not going to be hyper congested, that they're going to be able to feel that they have all the solutions within one stack, then I think that's a really good start. But we're just getting started. Again, we just announced the testnet.
Yeah, I think content is one of the hardest problem if you're building a social in Web3. My mental framework is twofold. As a protocol on our level, we try to think that content should be, if I have to quote from more like a political kind of like metaphor, is that we tend to think content should be a federal level problem and not a state level problem, if that makes sense. Like, I think regardless what a platform's intention is, and regardless how you kind of want to be the good parents, you try to answer everyone's request as how the poll should look like, it's gonna go wrong one way or the other. Just look at Mark Zuckerberg and TikTok's Congress hearing. Just look at, for example, I think I stopped using a lot of this when there's all this like cancel culture, woke culture, etc. Because a certain culture is maybe acceptable in California. That doesn't mean Asian people necessarily like that, right? So, I tend to think about whatever culture content strategy you're using, it should be a state level problem. That means we give out the dApps we're experimenting with a lot of flexibility. If you want to super exclusive, super control free, dictator do that. If you want to work with farmer, do that. If you want to do with completely private, invitation only, do that. If you want to be somewhere in between, only people owning a key or NFT can come in, or certain topic only, or even buildability, you have to do a long test in order to be the member. 140 questions is really hard. You can do that too. So we think that should be a state level problem, not a federal level problem, just because it's the culture you're trying to preserve.
Yes.
And from a user experience, however, I think then the key comes back, if it's all fragmented, as a result, it's all going to be fragmented. It's how do you route? How do you tie all the content together? And I think this exactly fitting into today's topic, which is AI. I was just chatting right now with Ia as well. What we are trying to build, what we're trying to ship end of Q1 next year is a personalized agent that will basically curates and sees all the contents from both centralized platform and also all this decentralized small spaces, and curate the best possible feed for you, so that you don't need to log in 30 times to different spaces, including Twitter all the way to the very digital art type of stuff. So I think AI could play a big part in terms of improving the end user experience, but without having to take sovereignty away from moderating the content from each of the individual spaces.
Yeah, so I talked to our consumer social lead at the foundation, Pedro, quite a bit about this. We split it up into two categories, which is distribution and experimentation. On distribution, a company that's doing this really well is called Popset. So they're going directly to college campuses around the US and are onboarding college athletes and then people in clubs and fraternities around those places. And you're basically opening it up to these small niche communities around the US and around the world. I don't think it's going to happen from getting the Snoop Dogs of the world on board. It's going to get these very small niche communities around the world building their own pockets of the internet and interacting with themselves. And that comes both from the creator side and also comes from the consumer side, right? So if you're getting a college athlete, you're getting everybody around them on board. And those athletes, right, if they have affiliate referrals or stuff, they can actually get their friends and other colleges on board. The other piece here is experimentation. So let's find new ways to interact with things on chain. One really interesting way here is like geocaching. So with high performant low fee chains, you can unlock a lot of very interesting applications. And one is being able to do geocaching on chain, right? You can put a bunch of little things around the world and people can go claim them. And then if you want to do trading on secondaries, you can. But really it's about this sort of social collecting nature of these applications. And the more things we can open up, like live streaming, like social shopping, things like that, I think you can open up a lot of really interesting use cases.
Yeah, I think that paints a really exciting vision. And the PopSet example is very cool. I think one thing that is kind of like consensus at this point is the creator monetization opportunities from blockchains are huge, and so there's a clear flywheel here of creators of a certain niche coming on board, earning. The referral of that is huge, and I'm also very excited for that too. And conscious of, do we have a few minutes for? Yeah. And any questions from the floor for our lovely panelists?
Don't be shy. Everyone knows everything.
You guys just did such a good job answering all those questions. There's nothing left to ask. Great. Well, thank you to our lovely panelists, and I'll pass over to Eleanor.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Thank you.